Hello there, friend. Welcome to a wonderful journey into the world of making things with your own two hands. Today, we're going to build something truly special, a bookshelf. This isn't just about creating a place to store your favorite stories. It's about the joy of building, the pride of creating, the fun of learning a new skill. Forget complicated plans and confusing instructions. We're keeping this simple, keeping it easy, and keeping it enjoyable. You don't need to be an expert or own fancy tools. All you need is a little bit of space, a few basic supplies, and a spirit ready for a fun challenge. We're in this together. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Imagine placing that first book on a shelf you built yourself. That feeling can't be bought at a store. This project is more than furniture. It's proof that you are capable and creative. We'll walk through every single step, picking out your wood, adding the final coat of paint. I'll be your guide, cheering you on. Every little effort is a victory. All right, let's talk about what you'll need. Think of this as your recipe for success. We're keeping the list simple so you don't have to run out and buy a whole new workshop. First up, wood. Pine boards are a great choice. Affordable, lightweight, easy to work with. One long board, 1 inch by 12 inches, called a 1 by 12. 8-foot length will be plenty. Screws next. About 31 1/4 inch wood screws. Wood glue adds a ton of strength. Tools, nothing fancy. Measuring tape, your best friend. Pencil for marking cuts. Handsaw works fine, or a circular saw if you want speed, or a miter saw for precise cuts. Drill to make pilot holes and drive screws. Sandpaper to smooth things out. 120 grit and 220 grit are ideal. Clamps, 2 or 3 C-clamps or bar clamps. They act like extra hands. Safety, don't skip it. Safety glasses and gloves, please. Recap. Materials. 1x12 pine board, 8 feet long. Gather everything before you start. You won't have to stop mid-step searching for stuff. It makes the process smoother and more organized. Once everything's laid out, you're ready for the fun part, building. This is where your bookshelf starts to take shape. We're going to turn that long plank of wood into the individual pieces of our shelf. The old saying, measure twice, cut once, is the most important rule in woodworking. Double-check our measurements before we make a cut. This simple habit saves us from making mistakes and wasting wood. For our simple bookshelf, we'll need 5 pieces in total, 2 side pieces and 3 shelf pieces. A good size for our pieces is 3 feet or 36 inches long. Starting from one end of the board, measure out 36 inches and make a clear, straight mark with your pencil. Now do it again. From that first mark, another 36 inches and make a second mark. Lay your 8-foot board on a flat surface and clamp it down so it doesn't move. Position your saw right on the line and use slow, steady strokes to cut through the wood. Try to keep your saw as straight as possible for a nice, clean edge. If you're using a power saw, make sure you've read the safety instructions. Always wear safety glasses. You should now have 2 beautiful 36-inch long pieces. Use one freshly cut piece as a template to mark the remaining shelf pieces so they're identical. Do this 3 times to mark out your 3 shelf pieces. Clamp your board and carefully cut along these new lines. When you're finished, you should have 5 beautiful pieces of wood, all 36 inches long. Take a moment to admire your work. You've just completed one of the most crucial steps in building. These 5 identical pieces are the building blocks of your bookshelf. Great job! Now that we have all our pieces cut, it's time for a very important and, honestly, satisfying step. Sanding. Sanding removes splinters and prepares the wood so it will accept paint or stain beautifully. Start with medium 120 grit sandpaper. If you have a sanding block, wrap the sandpaper around it to apply even pressure. Always sand in the direction of the wood grain. Going with the grain prevents scratches. Pay special attention to edges and ends. Smooth out saw marks and splinters. As you sand, you'll feel the surface change from rough to smooth. Once you've used 120 grit across all pieces, switch to fine 220 grit for that silky finish. Before you finish, wipe away the dust so the fine grit can work well. Make sure you sand all 5 pieces equally. Sand faces, edges, and ends. Give all the pieces one final wipe down to remove fine dust. Your boards are now prepped and ready for assembly. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to see our bookshelf come to life. We'll use 2 pieces for the sides. the vertical uprights, and 3 for the shelves. Lay one of your side pieces flat on your work surface. Stand a shelf piece on its narrow edge at the very bottom of the side piece. Make sure the back edges are flush. Run a thin bead of wood glue along the edge. Clamp them tightly so they don't move. Before we add screws, drill pilot holes. They prevent splitting. Now drive your screws into the pilot holes until snug. Fantastic. First shelf attached. Now add the top shelf. Place it at the top end. Back edges flush. Apply glue, clamp, drill pilot holes, and drive screws. Same process. You should now have a big C shape, one side with a top and bottom shelf attached. Measure the gap and divide in half to find the center for the middle shelf. Place the middle shelf so its center aligns with the mark. Apply glue, clamp it, drill pilot holes, and screw it into place. Take your second side piece and lay it on top of the assembled shelves, aligning edges. Repeat across top, middle, and bottom. Glue, clamp, then screw. Once the last screw is in, stand the bookshelf up. Look at that. You did it. This simple bookshelf is the perfect first project. It's practical, it's stylish, and completely achievable for a beginner. By the end, you'll have a new piece of furniture and the skills for more projects. So, you've stood your bookshelf up and you give it a little push, and it wobbles. Don't panic. This is completely normal, especially on a first project. First, go back over every screw and tighten them snugly. Gently push corners to see which way it wobbles. Often the floor is uneven. Stick a thin felt pad, folded paper, or cardboard under the lifting corner until it steadies. For a permanent solution, add a thin back panel of plywood or hardboard nailed or screwed on. That will eliminate side-to-side wobble and make the shelf very sturdy. Sometimes, the most important tool in your collection is the ability to take a break. If you find yourself getting frustrated, maybe a screw stripped or a measurement is off, step away. Go make a cup of tea, take a short walk, or just sit and listen to a song. Your project will be waiting for you. Problems that seemed huge often look smaller after a short break. You'll spot the simple fix. Congratulations! You've built a bookshelf. This is a huge accomplishment, and you should be incredibly proud. The structure is built. It's sturdy and ready to hold your books. This is where you get to be an artist. Finishing with paint is one easy option. Before paint, apply a coat of primer for even coverage. Or if you love natural wood, use stain to enhance the grain, then protect with polyurethane. You can paint the inside a different color for a fun pop. Use stencils, decoupage, or patterned paper to make it uniquely yours. Install small hooks to hang a tote or keys, functional flair. Flip through color swatches and inspiration photos. Don't be afraid to try something bold. This final step brings your hard work to a beautiful conclusion. It's the moment you see something you made holding things you love. Every time you look at your finished, personalized bookshelf, you'll be reminded that you made that. You took simple materials and turned them into something beautiful and useful. You earned this.